Megan, welcome to Studio 51 here at EMS Update.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Your first time here by all means?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's our 37th year of providing this EMS education for folks throughout the state. I believe it's actually one of the largest EMS conferences in the state of Pennsylvania. So glad to have you here as our guest and anxious to learn more about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been great. I've really been surprised by the crowd and all the vendors. It's been a great time.
You will meet some of the nicest people. And I mean that in the most sincere way. There's so many good people here, good people in EMS in general. I really believe that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you can be in this business and not be a good person.
Yeah.
So, Megan, I like to start everybody off with kind of a fun question.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So if you could have one superpower, what would that be and why?
I think if I had any superpower, it would be the ability to teleport myself anywhere in an instant. Like if I could look out the window and see snow and just close my eyes and think of a warm, sunny beach and then open them and be on a warm, sunny beach.
Yeah.
Or like when I need to get to a meeting and I'm stuck in traffic, if I could just teleport myself there, I think that would be great. Because we spend way too much time sitting in traffic in this country. And I would just like to be able to blink my eyes and be where I need to be.
Right. And you're from the Pittsburgh area, right? So you deal with a little bit of traffic, right?
Oh, just a little.
Just a little. So I like the whole teleport one. Great answer. So I think I can share that one. So by all means. So at an EMS conference, our focus, of course, is lots of training, wanting folks to leave the weekend with just how can I be a better clinical provider? How can I be a better manager? Those types of things. So one of the things I've been trying to ask all of my guests is, if you had any experience with EMS, so you or a family member has needed to rely on EMS, and what would be the message you would give to EMS providers in general to help them do their job better?
Yeah, so I have not personally needed EMS for me, but I've been a 911 caller in need of an ambulance
all right.
at least a dozen times.
Okay.
Once was actually at a conference much like this for HR professionals. We had a woman faint.
Okay.
And then you hear that someone call 911 and you go, they're not trained because they didn't do the point and you call.
Very good.
And I picked up on that.
Yeah.
And so then I became the point person.
Yeah.
I love to give orders. I can be very bossy.
Okay. So you said you call 911.
Yeah. I kind of took charge. I've had my mother-in-law fall and shatter her elbow in my kitchen and have to call EMS. And what I have to say is every time, which is at least a dozen times I've needed somebody from EMS, you guys come in with a certain level of swagger.
Okay.
Which is great. You come in with this calm and this confidence and this comforting, because there's always so much tension, especially at like a big conference and someone goes down. Everyone's, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And you guys come in and you just take charge and you can almost feel the tension like leave the building.
Huge.
And the only way I can describe that is that swagger.
Yeah.
And I just say, don't lose that. Even if you guys are also freaking out on the inside, we have no idea. It's that calm and that comfort that, hey, I'm here to take over.
Yes.
I just love it. It's like a superpower that you guys have.
That's a very good one. I think the swagger is important, and giving the message that we've got this, right? You can relax now. It's good, but not needing to say it, we just take control. And I do think people appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. Thank you. So I obviously know that you are the owner of Light Force Wellness. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about Light Force Wellness? What exactly do you do?
Yeah, so Light Force Wellness provides holistic wellness programs for organizations and individuals.
Okay.
So we provide pretty much anything you can think that deals with wellness. If it's education, if it's immunizations, if it's biometric screenings, if it's an app to run wellness challenges or have workout videos on demand or meditation, we really try to run everything. We try to be the one-stop shop that you need to provide whatever your employees need that maybe doctors and medical teams aren't like fully filling that gap.
Okay.
So how do I eat healthier? We have a lot of clients that, hey, my doctor says I'm pre-diabetic. I need to exercise and eat better. Well, what does that mean? That's where we would come in and kind of help and partner with them. But we help to provide programs that are engaging for your employees, so everyone wants to be involved and included.
That's awesome. So it is primarily focused. Your goal is to work with companies as your clients, right? So that you can provide services ultimately to each of the employees.
Yes.
So very neat. So I have to ask, what made you start this kind of a business?
Well, previous to this business, I worked in the oil and gas field.
Okay.
And so I spent 6 years being on call 24/7, 7 days a week. I'm sure you can relate.
I can.
And that burns you out. It really does. And if you're not prepared and you don't have the tools, I mean, my life was falling apart.
Okay.
I was burned out. I had a substance abuse issue. My relationships were falling apart. And so I had an opportunity to leave that industry. And I connected with a health coach who was a friend of mine. And I really started to get myself right, developed healthy habits, repaired a lot of relationships. And when she came to me and said, hey, your non-compete's about to expire. It's time for you to get back to work. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I went, well, I'm not going back to that. I want to do what you do. I just became so passionate about health and wellness. And I also realized in that time that when I was in the thick of it, when I was really burned out, I wasn't looking for a me. You know, I was just trying to keep my head above water, doing the best I could. I think the best way to bring wellness to those people is by going through the employers. By explaining to the employers, your employees need this. They may not be asking for it. They may not even realize they need it because they're just drowning. But coming in and working with the employers and saying, let's offer this as an employee benefit. Let's take the burden of paying for it because personal training and health coaching can get expensive.
Sure.
But employers, you know, as a group can pick up that tab at a discount and then give the resources that those employees need.
Good.
So that's really how it came about.
So where was I going to go with my next question? I was going to say, and do employers see it as like an employee retention type of a thing?
They do. So it depends on who you talk to. There's a lot of return on investment for employee wellness programs. And it really depends on what is your goal. When you set up your wellness program for an organization, what's the goal you're trying to fulfill? Okay. If you know that we have employees that are burned out and they're leaving, then great. It's an employee retention program. What do we need to make this a less stressful work environment for them? Is it leadership training? Is it stress management techniques? If it's we want to reduce healthcare costs, okay, what can we do to get your people active and to quit smoking and all the bad habits they have? So it really depends. There's a lot of return on investment for a wellness program, but it really comes back to what's the goal? What do we want to achieve with it?
Awesome. I like it a lot. And then the types of clients that you have, types of organizations that you work with. Can you tell us about that?
So obviously first responders. I have a passion. We always offer a 20% discount for nonprofits and first responders. Okay. And then because of my background in the oil and gas field, I tend to gear myself more towards those blue collar boys.
Okay.
You know, I'm working with construction. I'm working with manufacturing. I'm working with the coal miners, the oil and gas guys, because I know their bad habits. I see them do it. I know when to smack the wrist and tell them it's time to clean up their act. So I am geared to that. That's not to say that more of those white collar jobs. We have a couple of accounting firms, some call centers that we work with, but really, you know, our passion is for these people that are working those swing shifts, that are really burned out, that aren't really thinking about their health and wellness. Even though they're not asking for it, like I said, doesn't mean that they're not the ones that need it the most.
Oh, that's awesome. And I can say, you know, as you can appreciate, EMS is a 24-hour-a-day profession, right? You know, and sometimes the crews start at their day and they just keep on going, right?
Yeah.
So not a lot of time to sit down and have a proper meal. So we'll talk more about that. So key features of your program, you know, your workplace wellness program, what would be some of the key features?
So the key features is one, we have an app. So like who doesn't have an app nowadays?
There's an app for that.
There's an app for
What have an app for that?
So, but what I try to do with my app was blend all the other apps that I like. So like Calm, it has meditation. Like MyFitnessPal, it has the nutrition tracking. Like Beachbody or Les Mills, it has workout videos on demand. It's got community and groups, much like Facebook would run. But it's all encompassed in this one app. And then we can build private groups for our people so that they can collaborate. We can run their challenges through the app, which is great. And it takes a lot of burden off whoever was kind of tasked with doing that before. So that's one pillar. The other pillar that we have, part of our organization, is all education. We have a catalog of probably about over 40 workshops right now, everything from nutrition to mental health and financial wellness that we can provide. And then I think the third pillar of our organization is leadership training, because wellness starts from the top.
Sure.
And if the leadership isn't on board and taking care of themselves and investing and really feeling that this is a good investment, it's going to fall apart. We can't just say, oh, this wellness program is for those people over there.
Yeah.
Why isn't it working? Well, it starts with leadership. So we do a lot of leadership training on creating a culture where it's okay to not be okay, a culture where we promote well-being.
Awesome. The any particular success stories that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, so we worked with a lot of companies, including France, Spain, Canada. We've really branched out. It's been great. But one thing that comes to mind, especially for this group that I need to get across, and we've had some great speakers today that have talked on mental health, is one of the things we provide that's different from a lot of wellness programs is we offer a positive psychology approach. So we have coaching for that. And I have one client in particular that he started out working with me, and his thought was, I just got promoted and I don't know why. I don't think I have any strengths. I don't feel like I'm good enough.
Huh.
And I think that comes up a lot with first responders. Things go awry on a call and it's, well, if I could have done more, if I could have done this, I'm not good enough. I'm not cut out. And how many people get burned out and leave this industry because in their head, they're telling themselves, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And so I did a whole coaching program with him about 3 months, giving basic cognitive behavior therapies, little exercises, journaling exercises. He now just put in his resume for another job because he realized he's not being challenged enough. He's identified his strengths and he's going, I need better. I am capable of more. And I just sat with him and I said, we need to decide how coaching is going to go forward for you from here on out. And he goes, why? I said, you're putting in your resume for a more challenging job, but you realize you hired me because you originally thought I'm not good enough.
Okay.
That's a huge success.
It is.
And it's so subtle. And a lot of people don't put anything into that. But his entire attitude, his behaviors have all changed. It all starts with that mindset. And so that is like a huge success because once you overcome that mindset, you can overcome anything.
Yeah. Kudos to you. I'm sure he feels very good about the whole situation. I would like to think that his employer has certainly seen the benefits as well.
Yeah.
It's sad for them that they might be losing him.
Yeah.
But good for him. I think most employers are happy to see their employees if they have to leave to go to a better position. So kudos to you for your part of it.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Val, you mentioned 2 things that I want to elaborate on. You mentioned technology, you mentioned sort of the app, and you mentioned challenges. How does that sort of tie in? Can you explain what some challenges are?
Yeah, so some of the challenges that we run on our app are things like squat challenges, step challenges, activity. We can do weight loss challenges, which I try to stay away from just because there's a stigma and you have to have the right mentality to run those. There's a lot of emotion around people's weight and health and well-being, and we're very cognizant of that. But we try to make them fun and engaging. We just want to get people up and moving. We want a little bit of trash talking. We want some of that camaraderie and developing some friendships and also encouraging and promoting each other. And it's been great to have the app, especially in this post-COVID era. Like I said, we've been able to work with companies in France and Spain and Canada, all across the United States. Because the app works in all different languages. And then through Zoom, we can do all of our webinars. And so we're really embracing technology. We're actually even looking at some AI coaching to help with the app to customize programs better for our clients without the additional cost.
Sure. Now, I know other apps, they sort of tie into the Apple Watch. Does your app tie into the watch as well?
Yeah, so it works through the phones that no matter what phone you have, whether it's the Google Play or the Apple Health, you connect it to that. And so it can connect with any app. So it doesn't matter what app you have. It doesn't matter what watch or Fitbit or wearable device you have. We can find a way to connect it.
So a question then. So I mentioned before, EMS folks, lots of different shifts and lengths of shift and type of tasks that they're completing. So referring specifically to EMS workers themselves, right? The folks that are out there on the street. What would be an exercise tip that they can sort of utilize throughout the day, right? So they're at work. They obviously have downtime, despite what most will tell you. There are periods of time where they get a break right in between calls. If they were looking for something to do to sort of feel fit throughout the day, what might that be?
Well, I would say if you were on call, don't do anything too extraneous.
Sure.
You got to be ready to go. But there is that a body at rest stays at rest.
Yes.
So we don't also want to be sitting on our butts the whole time waiting for a call.
Sure.
So I highly recommend at least every hour getting up for 15 minutes, walking around. Also stretching. How many of the EMS, service providers can they actually touch their toes? Flexibility is a big thing. You're twisting, you're turning, you're loading, you're lifting. So anything to maintain that flexibility. So even things like yoga, which I know Heather was here earlier and she does a little.
I'm glad you two connected.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to connect with her again. But doing some of those yoga flows, those stretches, just getting up and walking, just get the blood flowing. It doesn't have to be crazy. I don't expect you to go over in the corner and do a whole CrossFit workout with pull-ups and stuff, but just enough to keep that blood flowing so you're ready to go. The last thing I want to see when I call EMS is you guys to hop out of the truck and then like pull a hammy.
Yeah.
And I would be really offended if you went to go hoist me up and you pulled your back.
Yeah.
I would be offended.
I've never pulled two hernias over anything like that ever. Okay. So obviously we have folks that also do office work, right? So our billing departments, that kind of thing. Any tips for them?
Yeah, I'd say same thing. Check in with your body. Get up and get moving. It's so easy to get just sucked into those screens.
Sure.
You know, I've been there building workshops and stuff that it's like, oh, what time is it? I haven't eaten. I haven't done anything. Really making sure to take those pauses. Checking with your body. I teach a lot of people a mind-body scan where they work from the top of their head down to their toes. Really just checking in. Like, am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I sitting here with my jaw clenched? So it's interesting when they start to do those, they realize like, oh yeah, my shoulders were up here. I was holding this tension. Just taking every hour, set a timer, use your phone, set an alarm. Every hour when it goes off, just close your eyes, run yourself through a scan. Make sure you get up, you get moving, you stay hydrated. Because that computer screen can just suck you in.
I agree. Absolutely. So one last question before we sort of wrap things up. A simple nutrition tip for folks on the go.
They're going to hate this.
Oh.
And it's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just prep some food.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Sure.
You know, go on Amazon, buy some cheap containers, buy some vegetables, buy some fruit, and just one day a week, chop it all up, put it in the containers, and have it ready to go. I don't know why this is so hard. It is so much cheaper.
Yeah,
if you've been through a drive-through lately, it is expensive.
It's getting very expensive.
There's no more dollar value.
No.
So it's actually cheaper. Just go buy the fresh produce, find things that are snacky. You know you're going to be, on the road a lot, or you're not going to have time to stop and get a proper lunch. Pack a lunch.
Awesome.
It's cheaper. It's efficient. It's not sexy. I get that, but it's the best thing you can do. Is just prep some fruit, some vegetables, some cheese cubes, some yogurt, throw them in a bag, and there you go.
Awesome. I completely agree. I would love to say that I always practice that practice, but I don't. But I do my best. So Megan, just as we wrap things up, if you could give us a tip on how do we get in touch with you? How do we get in touch with your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So our company is called Life Force Wellness. Our website is just lifeforcewellness.com. And you can reach me, Megan, MEGAN, at lifeforcewellness.com.
Very good. And I just want to present you this. This is our challenge coin.
Oh, nice.
It's something we give out to folks for doing a good job. We appreciate you. I'll teach you how to give it out. I got to get it like that. And then we turn away. I'm doing it backwards, right? So it's yours. So,
nice.
And you're supposed to hold on to that and have it with you at all times. You don't really have that.
No, I'm going to now. I have a friend that has a Navy SEAL one. So.
Oh, very neat. Okay, so very good. So you can if there's a whole thing to look up for it on the internet.
I will.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck with your company.
Yeah.